So our nice, comfortable, easy seat. Palms can be up or down today. Legs crossed, straight, one straight, one crossed. Whatever feels most comfortable on this Thursday morning. And then softly closing the eyes. Right? Relax the shoulders. So really try and let those shoulders relax down. Maybe just giving them just a gentle pull, gentle tug down so you can really feel that stretch, and then see if you can leave them there. Starting to come into our breath. And if you need to take any cleansing breaths here, feel free to add those in before you settle into your nostril breathing. So trying to tap into that quiet place, setting anything else aside. And as you're sitting here, centering for your practice, just take a pause, just for a second, a brief moment, and just be grateful. Even if life isn't perfect right now, just trying to be thankful for this life we get to live, right? For all the stories and adventures and all the people around us that love us and that we love. So trying not to retreat inward, trying to open up, embracing one another, sharing our love, sharing our light, and most importantly, trust yourself, right? Trust yourself to be open and receiving and giving. Just take a few more rounds of breath here. And then bring your palms together at heart center. And just take a moment here. I really want you today, as we move through our practice, to just be kind to yourself. Okay, just let your practice take you to where it needs to today. So whatever that is, and don't compare this practice to any others. It's different day, different time. Everything's different, right? It's a new place, new time, new space. So trust yourself. Softly blink open the eyes, and then release the fingers down to the sides of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And just turn to the right, come into a nice gentle twist, and then let that right hand, you can maybe tent the fingers for this first one. Press into those fingertips and sit up a little taller and turn back towards that right shoulder. So in most of our yoga poses, we root down to rise. So we press into that hand, sit up taller, turn towards that shoulder. Inhale, arms back through center. Drop them to the left and tent the left fingers to start. Press into that hand. Turn back towards the left shoulder. Inhale back through center. We're going to go back to the right side. You can keep the fingers tented or you can flatten that right palm. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn towards that right shoulder. And then leave the left hand on that right thigh. Inhale the right arm up and just take a little hinge to that left side. Notice the right shoulder pulled away from the ear, and maybe turn the chest a little more towards the ceiling. And then drop the right hand down. Inhale back through center. Let's go to the left. Let the left hand be flat if that feels better. Inhale, lengthen, turn back towards that shoulder. Take a pause here. And then right hand will stay on that left thigh. Inhale the left arm up. Take a little hinge to the right side. Maybe turning the chest a little more towards the ceiling. And then drop the left hand down. Inhale both arms through center, palms back together, hands to our heart. And then release the hands and just shift back a little and bring the soles of the feet together. So reclined, seated bound angle. We're not reclining yet. So sit up nice and tall, just gently grab hold of the feet. So if you can play around with how close you want those heels in, but we're just warming up. Just let the knees start to make their way down towards the floor, towards the mat. And then as you're holding on to the feet, on the inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, just hinge forward from the hips a tiny bit, chest towards the toes. As soon as you start to feel that stretch, take a pause. And then inhale back to that neutral spine. Exhale, do it again, reach the chest forward. Maybe you get a little deeper. Inhale back to a neutral spine. Exhale, reach the chest forward. So you can stay right here, or you can release the hands to the floor or mat in front of you and maybe inch them out a tiny bit. Just play around with that, see where you're feeling the best stretch. You can let the head relax, the neck relax. And then let's slowly bring the hands back, come back to that neutral spine, bring the knees up. Just heel toe the feet out towards the edges of the mat. Just give those knees a little windshield wiper. And then we'll come back through center. Just sweep the legs around and come into tabletop pose. And then before we start moving here, let's get a little stretch for the wrists. So flip the palms over, fingertips towards the top edge of the mat. And then just gently press into those hands. So this might be enough. It's enough for me. But if you need a little more, or your wrists, are healthy, and you don't have any issues going on, you can add a little motion forward and back or side to side. And then come to stillness. If you are moving, let's turn the fingers so they're pointing towards the body. So still the backs of the hands are on the mat. Again, staying still. You can move around a little bit. Just take it slow. And then one more time here, bring the fingers so they're pointing in towards one another. Backs of the hands are on the mat. And the same thing, still or movement. And then we'll flip the palms over, hands to the mat. Spread the fingers wide if you need to give them a little shake first, and do that. And we'll set up for some spinal balance. So extending the right leg back, flex the foot, adding in the left arm. Hold here. And then lower down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Lower down. Let's just start to flow back and forth, side to side. So connect with your breath. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhale to lower. And take a little pause there when you do lengthen. Maybe hold for a breath before lowering down. Really focusing on pressing through that heel and extending through the fingertips. So moving from side to side. And the next time you come to that right leg and left arm, hold there. And then maybe bend that back knee, reach around for that foot, adding in a little bind. And then we'll release that out, lowering down, and just switching sides, left leg, right arm. Bending that knee, reaching around for that foot. If you can't grab the foot, it's no worries, you just reach in that direction, or use that strap or towel. And then release that side out, come back to table, And sink your hips back to a child's pose and relax your arms. So the arms can be anywhere that feels best. In front of you, you can stack the hands, you can wrap them around. And then one more time, I want you to think, remember, trust yourself. Start to walk the fingers out towards the top of the mat. Spread them nice and wide. Maybe bring the knees in a little bit closer. And then inhale up to a kneeling plank. Take a pause, press into the hands, so energize those arms. Shift forward slightly, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes under, come into your high plank. High plank, hold for a breath. Hips lift high, downward facing dog. Take a moment, pedal the heels, add any other movement in that you need. Shake the head, whatever feels good in this first down dog. Getting out all those pops and cracks and kinks. And then come to stillness. Let's inhale back to that high plank, high push-up. We'll take that pause again. So press into the hands. The belly engages. So the belly sucks in, upper back rounds. Drop to the knees, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale to that cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes under, come into your plank. Hips rise, downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time with the option you can keep the knees up if you're ready for that. Otherwise, we'll drop the knees down and continue with that flow. So inhale into your plank. Knees can come down or they can stay up. Taking your cobra or up dog. Pause in your cobra or up dog. Great. Lower down, tuck the toes under, come into that plank. Hips reach high, downward facing dog. Right leg high, bend the knee, open that hip. Take some movement in that ankle or leg. And then square up the hip, bring the right foot to the top of the mat, pause in your low lunge. Left hand will stay down, right arm reaches up. And then dropping that right hand down, drop the left knee down, arms come high, or Anjaneyasana or low crescent lunge. Relax the shoulders. And then hands can come behind the back. Interlace the fingers or fists in the sacrum. Lift the chest. And then release that bind, arms reach high. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale to that high plank. We'll all drop the knees, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes under, high plank. Hips rise, downward facing dog. Let's do that again. Inhale, high plank. We'll all drop to the knees, lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes, high plank. Downward facing dog. Last one here, you can keep the knees up if you're ready for that. Inhale, high plank. Knees up or down, cobra or up dog. Hold that cobra or up dog. Great. Tuck the toes, high plank. Downward facing dog. Left leg reaches high. Bend the knee, open that hip. Take some movement. And then square up the hip, bring the left foot to the top of the mat, setting up for that low lunge. Right hand down, left arm reaches up. Dropping the left hand down, right knee to the mat, arms high, our low crescent lunge. Let's take that bind again, or fist in the sacrum. This is another place where you could use that strap or sock or towel, lifting the chest. And then releasing that bind out, arms come high. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to down dog. Inhale nice and high on those toes, as high as you can. And then exhale, sink the heels down towards the mat. One more time, inhale nice and high, fingers are spread wide. Exhale, sink those heels down. Press the chest back towards the thighs. And then look up in between the hands, bring the feet to the top of the mat. So any way you need to get there. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. 2 more times. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Grab opposite elbows here. Maybe separate the feet a little bit. Ragdoll pose. And then release those elbows, fingertips to the mat. Put a good bend in the knees here and slowly, slowly roll yourself up to mountain. Heel toe the feet back a little closer together. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. Keep them reaching up. Take the left foot and put it behind you. And then right fingers will grab that left wrist. Let's lengthen up and then take a little hinge to the right side. And then come back through center. Leave that foot there. We're just going to switch hands here. Left fingers around the right wrist. Lengthen up, hinge to the left. And then come back to center. Arms come down, left foot comes to the mat. Inhale, arms come high. Bring the right foot behind you. Take the right fingers around the left wrist. We're going to lengthen up and go back over to the right side. And then arms will come back through center, switch that grip, lengthen up, hinge over to the left. And then coming back to center, arms come down, right foot meets the left. Take a deep breath in through the nose, sigh it out. One more, just like that, in through the nose, sigh it out. Inhale, arms come back up high. Exhale down into your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back, flow through your vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. Taking a deep breath in here and out. Look up in between the hands, bring the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms rise tall, mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, right back up. Exhale, fold. Back into that half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back, flowing through. Meeting in downward facing dog. Deep breath in and out. Making our way back to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms rise tall, mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. And then bring the feet a little closer together and we'll make our way to chair pose. So last week, I know we worked a lot on relaxing those shoulders down. So maybe just for a moment, let's just tap into that again. Bring the hands to the thighs, sink the hips back, and just really press into the thighs and pull the shoulders down. So our legs will probably feel a little more, but we can really feel the length in the side of the neck and the shoulders, so pulling them down. And then just slowly release the arms up and see if you can just keep that feeling. So another good way to do that also would be to bring the arms out a little wider. So just imagine you're holding a giant snowball or maybe beach ball. So helpful to relax the shoulders down. Take one more breath. And then exhale to your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant those hands, step or float back. We'll flow through and meet in down dog. Inhaling that right leg nice and high. Bring that foot to the top of the mat, warrior one. Take a few extra breaths here. Shoulders relaxed, left hip forward. Bend a little deeper in the front knee. Awesome. Exhale, hands to the mat. Press that right leg back, flowing through. Coming back to down dog, left leg reaches high. Bring that foot to the top of the mat, warrior one. Relax those shoulders. Bend a little deeper in the front knee, and then pull the right hip forward. Exhale, hands to the mat. Press that left leg back. Option to flow through. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Look up in between the hands, bring the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose. Sit a little lower. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back and flow through. And then reach the right leg high. Inhale to your plank, pulling your knee into your nose, so cheetah pose here. Exhale, back to three-legged dog, right leg high. Inhale to that plank, right knee, right elbow. Exhale, back to down dog, right leg high. One more time, inhale, knee to left elbow. Exhale, back to three-legged dog. And then bring that foot to the top of the mat and pause in your low lunge. Come up onto those fingertips. Get a nice bend in the front knee, so line that knee over the ankle there. Great. And then rise up to your high crescent lunge. Maybe widen those arms a little bit so you can really relax the shoulders. Staying here a little longer than we normally do. Couple more breaths. Really grounding down into that front foot. Back leg is nice and engaged. Exhale, hands to the mat. Press that right leg back. Option to flow through or just rest in down dog. Reaching our left leg high. Inhale, pull that knee into the nose, cheetah pose. Exhale, back to three-legged dog, left leg high. Inhale, pull that left knee to left elbow. Exhale, back to three-legged dog. One more time, left knee comes to the right elbow. Exhale, back to that three-legged dog. And then we'll sweep the left foot to the top of the mat, pausing in that low lunge. First, we come up onto the fingertips, get ourselves situated and grounded, and then we root down, rising up high crescent lunge. Relax the shoulders. Breathe. Can you bend a little deeper in the front knee? Great. 2 more breaths here. And then lower the hands to the mat, press that left leg back, flowing through that vinyasa. Coming back to down dog. Inhale nice and high on those toes. Exhale, heels sink down towards the mat. And then look up in between the hands, bring the feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Separate those feet. Take your peace fingers around your big toes, or you can slide the palms under for gorilla pose. And just come a little deeper into that fold. Keep your head nice and relaxed. So if you're in gorilla pose and you want to wiggle the toes a little bit, massage out the wrists. And then release whatever variation you have here. And just make sure you bend the knees enough so you can get the hands flat on the mat. And then I want you to shift forward a little bit. So you're really pressing the balls of the feet and the toes into the mat. And let those heels lift up. So maybe you feel this a little more in the backs of the legs. It might feel a little wobbly. Just a couple more breaths. And then drop the heels down. And then this time we'll shift back and just let the toes and balls of the feet lift up. And then we'll lower the toes and balls of the feet down. So maybe now you really feel the grounding in those feet. So we're gonna rise to our mountain. So I really want you to think about rooting down to rise. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, arms by our sides, mountain pose. And then heel toe the feet back together and make your way back to your chair. Sink nice and low, wiggle those toes. And then exhale to your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or hop back, flow through. And then we'll reach the right leg high. Sweeping that foot to the top, warrior one. Open out to warrior two. Flip that palm, reverse your warrior. Cartwheel the hands down to the mat, right leg goes back. Optional vinyasa here. Left leg reaches up. Sweep that foot to the top, warrior one. Open out to warrior two. Flip that palm, reverse your warrior. Lowering the hands to the mat, press that left leg back, flowing through. And then we'll bring our feet back to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, hands to heart center. Let's twist to the right, left elbow, right thigh. Sink those hips back. Notice the shoulder pulled away from the ears. Inhale through center, go right to the other side. Slowly unwind. Exhale to your fold. Step back with the left foot and rise to your warrior one. And then bring this foot out a little wider. We're setting up for humble warrior, but we're going to take it with eagle arms today. So arms out like a T. Left arm under the right, wrapping around, palms together. Remember, you can bring fingers to the shoulders if that works better. Elbows come up to shoulder height. On the inhale, we look up. Exhale, lower, humble warrior. Nice deep breaths. Squeeze the right knee in towards that right shoulder, and then pull the left hip forward. A couple more. And then we'll slowly rise back up. Straighten the front leg, release the arms, hands to the hips. Shorten the stance, set up for pyramid pose. Inhaling, lift the chest. Exhale over that right leg. And then let that upper body relax over that leg. Head and neck are nice and heavy. One more breath here. And then come up onto the fingertips. We'll step the left foot up to meet the right. Exhaling to our fold. Inhale, arms rise, tall mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. And then bring that right knee into the chest. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So your hands can come to heart center if that's a better balance point. And then we're just going to stretch this right hip. So maybe today that's just a couple little pulses. Maybe you need to reach the arms out. Maybe you need to bring the hands to the mat and do a little side to side. So just find a spot where you can feel a good stretch in that right hip. And then we'll straighten the left leg. Let the right foot meet the left and exhale to your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Rise back to that chair pose, hands in heart center. We're going to take our twist again. Right elbow, left thigh. So we're twisting to the left. Maybe deepening this twist by opening the arms. And then coming back through center, we'll go to the right, left elbow, right thigh. Same thing here, deepen as needed, sink those hips back. And then unwind through center, exhale, fold, step back with the right foot, rise up to warrior one. Let's scoop this left foot out a little. Humble warrior, arms out like a T, right arm under the left this time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, lower. Whoa, almost lost me there. And then once you get there, squeeze that left knee in towards the left shoulder and pull the right hip forward. Relax. Make sure you're not clenching the teeth, the jaw, breathe. One more here. And then make your way back up. Straighten that leg, unwind the arms, hands to the hips, pyramid pose, shorten the stance. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Nice deep breaths. And then come up onto those fingertips. Step the right foot up to meet the left. Exhale to your fold. Arms rise, tall mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. Left knee will come into the chest. Let's cross that left ankle over, sit the hips back. So we're going to get into that left hip now. So it might be different than the other side. So any arm variation. Also, if you need to hold on to something, sometimes you can even get a little deeper then, okay? So take what you need on this side. Let's take about 2 more breaths here. And then straighten that right leg, uncross the left. Exhale to your fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back and flow through. And then we'll reach that right leg up. Sweep that foot to the top. And let's come back to that high crescent lunge. So get nice and grounded. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, airplane arms, crown of the head reaches forward. Hold here. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, arms reach up. This time we'll exhale to our warrior 3 with those airplane arms, and then option to move the arms around once you get there. Couple more breaths, find a focal point. And then left toes come down, come back to that high lunge. Open out to warrior 2. Straighten the front leg, triangle pose. Certainly feel free to add a core challenge in today if that's something that you or your body needs. So, totally fine. And then we'll make our way back up. Let's flip that palm, reverse our triangle. And then cartwheel those hands down to the mat, press the right leg back, flowing through that Vinyasa. Meeting in down dog, take a deep breath in and out. Inhale the left leg high. Sweep that foot to the top, high crescent lunge. Take a pause, get grounded. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, airplane arms, crown of the head reaches forward. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, airplane arms. And then one more time, inhale, arms rise. Exhale, float to that warrior three. Again, feel free to move the arms around. Really press into the big toe mound of that bottom foot. It helps ground you down. A couple more breaths. And then we'll drop the right toes down, opening out to warrior two. Straightening our front leg, triangle pose. Feel free to add that core challenge in on this side if you did so on the other. One more breath. And then inhale back up, flip that palm, reverse your triangle. And then we'll cartwheel those hands down, step that left leg back, flowing through. And then drop to the knees, come into tabletop, and make your way to your puppy dog pose or your heart melting pose, pressing the chest down. Feel free to take a drink or towel off, prior or right after. Just a couple more breaths. And then we'll start to make our way back up and find downward facing dog. Right leg reaches high. Bring that foot to the top, open out to warrior two. Warrior two. Flip that palm, reverse your warrior. And then exhale to side angle or extended. And then take this pose as deeply as you need today. You can stay here, maybe drop the arm behind the back. Anything that works. Half bind, full bind. If you need to take off in your bird, feel free. And then let's all meet up in our side angle or extended. And we'll rise back to warrior two, turning to the left side of the mat, setting up for a wide fold. Inhale, lift that chest. Exhale, lower. So when you get there, keep the hands underneath the shoulders. So we're in that half lift. And then we'll exhale, fold. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then turn the heels in so the toes are out towards the corner. And bend that left knee and take a Skandasana pose to the back of the mat. So right leg will straighten. So any arm variation that you like, maybe you walk the hands out, maybe you take a bind. Maybe you come up higher if you prefer, if that feels better. Just get into that right leg. And then let's bring the hands to the mat. We're going to walk back around to the top of the mat. So come into a low lunge. And we'll make our way back to our high crescent lunge. And let's relax the shoulders. Bring the hands to heart center. All right, we're going to make our way back to warrior three and just add in a little fun little action. So when you're ready, make your way to warrior three. Left leg lifts up. And then extend those arms out. Keep the palms together. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, palms into the chest. Knee comes in, left knee in. Inhale, extend out. It works better if you smile when you do this. Knee comes into the chest, palms into the chest. One more time. Inhale, extend. Exhale, crunch it in. And then extend the left leg back. Drop the toes down. Come back to that high lunge. Take a twist to the right. Left elbow, right thigh. Open those arms to deepen. And then let's slowly unwind, hands to the mat. Left knee drops down, lizard pose. Just scoot that foot up towards the corner. You can stay on the hands, you can lower down. If you need another bind, feel free to bend that back leg, whatever feels good. Allow the breath to start to settle. And then let's all come up onto those hands. And we'll make our way back to downward facing dog. Feel free to take a vinyasa here. Maybe you just rather pedal out the heels, so whatever you need. And then we'll reach our left leg high. Sweep that foot to the top, open out to warrior two. Warrior two. Flip that front palm, reverse your warrior. And then exhale to side angle or extended. And then again, take this as deep as you need on this side. Half bind, full bind. Maybe that bird of paradise. Just try and keep a nice deep bend in that front knee if you're in your side angle or extended. Awesome, everybody looks great. And then we'll start to make our way out, meeting in our side angle or extended. And then we'll rise back to that warrior two, hands to the hips, turning to the long side of the mat. Let's interlace the fingers behind the back or grab that strap. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, lower into that fold. So getting a good stretch in our shoulders here. Remembering to shift forward a tiny bit. And then release the bind if you have it. Hands to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And then one more. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Turn those heels in, toes are out. Bend into the right knee. Take that Skandasana pose. Maybe walking the hands out. Taking this into a little more of a fold, or maybe you like to bind, or hands at heart center, or just to the mat. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then we'll make our way back around, coming into our low lunge, and then rising to that high crescent lunge, hands at heart center. So now we know where we're going, so let's get there. Let's make our way to warrior three. Lift that right leg up, hands stay to heart center. Extend the arms out in front, palms together. Nice deep breath in. Exhale, knee and palms come in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee and hands come in. One more time, inhale, extend. Exhale, knee and hands come in. Woo. And then step the right foot back, come back to that high lunge, and we'll take our twist to the left. Deepen as you need. And then we'll unwind through center, hands to the mat, back knee comes down. Lizard pose. And then while we're here in our lizard pose, if you use a block for half moon or revolved pyramid, keep it handy near the top of the mat. And then let's start to make our way out of our lizard, pressing back to down dog. Staying here, flowing through. And then we'll lift our right leg up. Bringing the right foot back to the top. Let's open out to warrior two. Warrior two. And then setting up for that half moon. So maybe you like to drop the left hand to the left hip. That's what I do. It's totally up to you. So shortening your stance, looking out in front, finding a focal point, make your way to that half moon pose. And then once you get there, get that right wrist under the right shoulder and stack the left on top. Maybe the left arm reaches up, maybe it just stays on your hip. Really press into the big toe of that right foot, grounding down. And then we're going to unwind from this. So the left leg staying lifted. We're squaring up the chest. So left hand comes to the mat, square up the hips, and then drop the left foot to meet the right and come to your chair pose, hands at heart center. One more twist, twist to the right, left elbow, right thigh. Opening those arms to deepen. If there's anything else you want to play around with, side crow, anything like that, feel free. We have about 3 more breaths here. One more nice deep one. And then unwind. Exhale to your fold. Step the left foot back, rise to warrior one. And then bring the hands to the hips. Straighten the front leg. Just scoot that right foot out a little. Maybe shorten the stance. So revolve pyramid here. So the left arm will go up. And then we'll exhale lower, bringing that hand or the hand with the block to the inside of that right foot. And then maybe that right arm lifts up. Feel free to use a block here. And to deepen this, we can bring the hand or the hand with the block to the outside of that right foot. Take 2 more breaths. And then let's gradually unwind. Set that block aside if you have it, and press back to 3-legged dog, right leg nice and high, bend the knee, open that hip. And then stay here in your hip opener, maybe flip your dog, maybe take a wild thing. And then if you did flip over, come on back around. We'll flow through before we go to the other side to reset. And then left leg reaches high. Bring that foot to the top. Warrior two. Setting up for that half moon. So maybe the right hand will come to that right hip. Whenever you're ready, make your way there. Remember, it's more important to line up that bottom wrist and shoulder and stack the hips than lifting the top arm. When all those other things line up, then we can start adding on. Breathe nice and deep. And then we'll start to lower the right hand down, squaring up the hips. Right foot meets the left. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, hands to heart center. Twist to the left, right elbow, left thigh. Opening to deepen. If you worked on that arm balance on the other side, take some time to do it here. So we have about 3 or 4 more breaths here on this side. And then we'll all slowly unwind. Exhale to that fold. Step back with the right foot, rise to warrior one. Scooting that left foot out a little, straightening the leg, hands to the hips. So shortening the stance if you need on this side for that revolved pyramid. Right arm reaches up. Exhale, extend forward, coming into that twist. Remember to deepen, you can bring that hand or block to the outside of that left foot. Take 2 more breaths. And then let's unwind, hands to the mat. We'll press back to that 3-legged dog, left leg nice and high, bend the knee, open that hip. Staying or flipping over. And then unwinding if you flipped. Option to flow through. And then we'll look up in between the hands, bringing those feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Arms rise, tall mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. Take a drink if you need. And then we're going to pull the right knee into the chest. So we're either going to take our peace fingers around our big toe or the strap around that foot, or you can just hold on to the shin if this is enough today, okay? So if you can, if you're grabbing peace fingers or using a strap or a towel, we're going to straighten that right leg out to the front. So anything you want to do with the left arm that helps you with balance. So this is step 1. Step 2, we'll bring that leg out to the side. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. I just noticed I was like grinding my teeth down. And then we're going to try to make our way back to center. Release the grip and just keep that right leg lifted. And then we'll lower it down. And then we'll just switch sides. So left knee will come in, grabbing that big toe or strap around. And then we'll extend that left leg out. You can stay here, open that leg out to the side. So even if you're going to keep the leg bent, that's totally fine. You can just bring that leg out to the side like that if that's better today. Yeah, great, awesome. Breathe. And then let's come back to center. Release the grip and then extend the left leg out in front. Breathe. And then we'll lower it down. Bring the hands back to heart center. Bring the right knee back into the chest. And we're coming back to that figure 4. So cross the right ankle over the left thigh and sink back. And then bend the knees so much that you can get the hands to the mat. So we want the hands to be flat on the mat. You can even rest that right hand on a block. We're just going to add a twist in here. So right arm's down, left arm reaches up. So you should feel that right shin resting on the back of that right tricep. And the more you push into that, the deeper the stretch you're going to feel on that right hip. And then let's slowly unwind. Just uncross the legs and exhale to your fold. Inhale, arms rise, tall mountain. Exhale, mountain pose. And we'll just move to the other side. Left knee comes in, cross that ankle over and sit back. And then bend that bottom leg so you can get the hands flat on the mat. Our left hand will stay down, right arm reaches up. So really press that left shin into that left tricep, opening out to the right. And then we'll slowly unwind. Uncross that foot, exhale to your fold. And then heel toe those feet out nice and wide and come into your malasana pose. Hands to heart center. And take a moment here, really press the elbows into those inner thighs. So before we come all the way down, option today, you can work on your crow pose, or maybe you work towards that Tittipasana pose, which is where our legs are straight out while we're in our semi-light crow pose or shoulder pressure posture. So your choice, you can stay right here if this is enough. You can bring the hands to the mat and work on your crow pose. Or you can lift the hips high, bring the feet parallel to the edges of the mat, and get those shoulders underneath the thighs. So hands are going to be behind the back, flat on the mat, and then we sit down on the backs of those triceps. So this might be enough, but this is our step-by-step to get to that Titibhasana pose. So maybe you bring the toes in and they touch. Maybe they just lift up, so it's kind of like a float. Maybe you work on straightening the legs. So many things to do, right? When you're done playing around with all that, just come to seated in that bound angle and start to do some wrist stretches and circles. We need it. Awesome. And then we'll release that out. And then extend those legs out nice and wide. So we're going to come into a seated wide fold. Hands will come by your hips. Flex the feet. And then sweep the arms up. We'll turn the palms forward and just lower ourselves down. And just relax. But keep the feet active. So we want those feet nice and active. And then we'll walk the hands back up. And then we'll keep the left leg straight. Just bend the right knee. Bring the sole of that right foot to the inside of the thigh. And then just turn to face your left leg. Okay? Reach the arms up and exhale over that leg. So this is another good place to use a strap or a towel or a sock. So reaching our chest towards that foot. And then walking the hands back up. Extend the right leg out again. We're going to take one more seated wide fold. Arms reach high. Palms to the front, lower down. Walking the hands back up. Let's bend the left knee. We'll bring the sole of that left foot into that right thigh, turning our body to line up over that right leg. Arms reach up. And then exhale down. And then walk the hands back up. Let's just bring this right foot in to meet the left, so a seated bound angle. So we kind of started out in the beginning doing this, so notice if it feels any different, right? Play around with where you want those heels. Hopefully it feels much different. And then we'll take a moment. You can either stay upright or hinge forward. And then I want you to think about how you'd like to get upside down today before we all come all the way down onto our backs. Again, if there's something you want to work on your hands, forearms, head, think about that. And you can move around or stay on your mat and do that. So just take a few more breaths here. Otherwise, we'll come down onto our backs and do shoulder stand, our legs up in the air. So. And then let's bring those knees up. Great. And then start to make your way to your inversion. So whatever your body needs today, I know you get tired of me saying that, but whatever your body needs, please don't let your mind tell you what, do what feels best for this Thursday morning, just to reverse that blood flow. And certainly if you do not want to take an inversion, just come down onto your back into steeple knees or bound angle. Anybody that's working on shoulder stand, remember, take about like 6 to 8 breaths and then You can make your way into your plow pose. I can't see everybody here. Awesome. So for those of you working on your handstand, remember trying to get our hips right over the shoulders. So trying to almost float those legs up. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the shoulders. Come to a rest when you're done, especially if you're on your hands and your forearms or your head. Come to a child's pose, or you can certainly come down on your back after that, but try and take a child's pose after that. And then if you have shoulder stand and you want to move into plow for a few breaths, do that, and then come into your fish pose. And then for legs up in the air on the block, stay there for as long as you like, and then lower down into a more restorative bridge. And then after you've taken several breaths in your counter pose, we'll meet down on our back, okay, with the legs bent, soles of the feet onto the mat for our bridge pose. So just take a few moments to get yourself situated. And then scoot those heels in a little closer to the glutes. Maybe you can graze them with those fingertips. And then let your arms be long by your sides. On your next inhale, press those hips up. So lift up nice and high, squeeze the inner thighs together. And you can always place a block in between those inner thighs too, if you have that. It really helps with that action, that muscle action. So hands can stay down, as you guys know, or interlace the fingers if you want to add that shoulder bind in. And then we'll slowly lower down. Just take a pause, keep the legs right where they are. And then we'll set up for back bend number 2. We're going to do 3 today. So setting up for another bridge pose, or if wheel is something you want to go to now, then get ready to make your way there. And then we'll all press back up, coming into our second back bend. Two more breaths here. And then lower the hips down. Take a little breather. Decide what you'd like to do for that third and final back bend today. Maybe you need to move to a more restorative version, totally fine. When you're ready, make your way to that last one. So if you're coming back up into bridge or wheel, maybe rising onto those toes, getting a little higher. Just keep your head and neck still. Two more breaths. And then lower the body down. Come into a recline bound angle. And then place one hand on your heart, one on your belly, and close your eyes. And just breathe so deep that you feel that bottom hand just rise up, the one resting on your belly. And then let's slowly release the arms by our sides. We'll bring the knees up, feet come back on the mat, cross the right ankle over the left thigh, and come into your figure 4. So just getting a stretch for those hips. So 3 ways we can do that. 3 options today. You can stay here in your figure 4, fine figure 4. You can pull that right knee over and line it up over top of the left for a little cow face legs on your back, so you're grabbing your feet. Or if you need something a little deeper, you can extend the left leg long and come into a reclined cradle the baby. So, whatever that hip's calling for, start to move into that. And then we'll release that side out. Hug the knees in, give a little rock from side to side. And we'll lower the feet down, cross the left ankle over, figure 4. Or maybe the cow face legs, lining the knees up, grabbing the feet. Or a reclined cradle the baby, where that right leg's straight, and you wrap around that left. And then release that out. Extend both legs long, reach the arms overhead, take a full body stretch. And then hug the knee into the chest. Right knee in, and come into a twist. Pull that knee over to the left side, extend that arm out. And then we're going to keep into this twist, so the right arm's out. And I want you to straighten that right leg. So if you can, let that right foot just rest on the floor. If you need to hold it up or place it on the block, that's fine. And then turn the palm down, so right palm down, and just see if you can inch those right fingers out a little more and scoot the right toes up a little closer towards your head, or not, up higher. So the gaze is turned towards that right hand. So getting into that IT band, that outer stretch of the hips. And then bend the right knee. I'm just going to come back through center. I'm going to hug the left knee in to meet the right. And then extend that right leg long and move into your twist on this side, bringing that left leg across. And enjoy this twist for several breaths. And then we'll straighten the left leg. Let that left foot rest on the mat. So don't worry so much about the shoulder coming up. We're more worried about getting that stretch in the outer hip. And then turn the palm down. See if you can inch the left fingers out a little. Maybe that left foot can come up a little higher. And then we'll bend that left knee, coming back through center. Hug both knees in and find a happy baby pose. Adding in any motion, or maybe you need to straighten the legs, so feel free to add on to that happy baby, anything that feels super peaceful and stretchy and relaxing for those legs and inner thighs. And then coming back through center, give yourself one more nice tight squeeze. Maybe the forehead comes in towards the knees. And then release that out and slowly make your way to your rest, your Shavasana. Adding anything else you need to make this more peaceful, restorative, blankets, shirts, socks, dimming the lights. And then take up as much space as you can on that mat and just tune in, tune out anything else that's going on around you, and then tune out anything else that might be trying to creep into your mind. There's no reason to think about anything but your rest right now. And as you inhale, maybe you imagine yourself like rising a little. And as you exhale, just sinking a little deeper onto that mat. Start to become a little more aware of your surroundings. Still keeping any distraction, noises, any sensations in the background, but just becoming aware. And taking some nice deep inhales and exhales. And then beginning to let the energy back in, waking up all those parts of the body, starting anywhere, stretching, moving, wiggling, circling. And once you feel you've done enough of those motions that you can roll yourself to your side and make your way there and just take a pause. Just taking a moment to be grateful for this practice. And taking time for yourself and all the other positive things we have going on in our lives, with our family, and our world. There's a lot to be grateful for. And then make your way to a nice, easy seat. Hands will come together at heart center. Let's take a deep inhale together, gathering up lots of energy, positive, lots of light. And then exhale, sigh it out, and just share some with your fellow yogis across the internet. And then we'll bow forward, sealing in this practice. Thank you so, so much for practicing with me this morning. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste, my friends.
Namaste, Dee.
Namaste.
Namaste, Denise. Thank you.
Class, thank you.
Thank
so much.
you.